We've broken down our scientific discovery history into a few numbers, just to give you a little background. On the right of the screen, you'll see a really big number, more than $500 million invested in the fight against arthritis. We've made significant contributions to the scientific community over the years, including helping to make joint surgery safer and more effective, and being involved in the discovery of biologics. Our more recent milestones is in the osteoarthritis field, where the Arthritis Foundation funded researchers have discovered a narrow window for preventing post-traumatic osteoarthritis after traumatic ligament surgery. This year, the Arthritis Foundation was involved in managing about 26 major initiatives. The value of these multi-year projects represents a more than $30 million investment.
The Arthritis Foundation in its history has had an incredible impact, and it has defied those odds. I want to take a look at the timeline for our organization, and we can focusing on sort of the center. We've talked about some of the seminal discoveries in IL-1. So this is Bill Arndt's work in 1983, discovering this major lever that can be pulled to control inflammation. There's other stories behind that. There's the human stories of Bill Arndt, who has told us that without the Arthritis Foundation's support, he may not have continued his career in rheumatology. And that's important because we fast forward all the way to 2001, and that discovery he made has a direct line of connection to the establishment of Kineret. It helped blow open the entire field of biologics and produce Kineret, which is an FDA-approved drug. So had Bill not received that Arthritis Foundation from the support of people like you, we might not have had that drug. Let's fast forward again, year 2000. It's very rare for any organization, any nonprofit organization, to have even a single FDA-approved therapy that they can draw a line of connection from their funding to something that's now in clinic. So we mentioned Kineret, but here's another one, Cosentyx. So year 2000, there was a grant given to Dong Chen, University of Texas MD Anderson Center. You may remember him. He occupied Mike Ortman's chair here the other night. There was a picture of him sitting on that chair. So 2005 produced a discovery that has now been cited by more than 2,000 other clinicians, other researchers, and academicians that, again, uncovered yet another pathway, another lever that could be pulled to help control inflammation. That resulted in Cosentyx, approved just this last year, and as Mike mentioned, now the recipient of the pharmaceutical industry's equivalent of the Nobel Prize just this last week. So those are two FDA-approved therapies that have benefited and have a direct line of connection to the funding that's come of our organization. So as you go out and talk about an idea of impact you can feel, this is part of those talking points. There's other aspects of that timeline that are up there on the board right now, major partnerships that we've had. So looking in the middle of the screen in 1998, that word there, NARIC, that's a major genetics consortium. Many of the genes that we understand to be responsible for arthritis came out of that investment, that partnership that the Arthritis Foundation had with our federal government long before the idea of public-private partnerships was even that term had even been coined. The Arthritis Foundation was there at the dawning of the human genome era to say we're gonna take that risk and we're gonna establish these major forward-looking efforts. Let's look back, 1978. The discovery of Lyme disease. This is a household term, and this is one of the things that I want to make sure that we convey in our talking points. Science doesn't always have to be around very complicated topics. Lyme disease is something that everyone has heard about, and the Arthritis Foundation was there to help understand that Lyme disease was a transmissible disease carried by ticks in this case. That study, funded by the Arthritis Foundation in Connecticut, the researcher, the foundation working together, there's an extra part of the story that I think is imbued with everything we do within the foundation. What brought that researcher and that foundation together was actually a very astute mother who looked around her community and said, we have a lot of children here with what seems to be a rare disease. Why is that? That doesn't make sense. That mother brought the attention of the research community and the foundation. So that patient involvement, what you bring, is incredibly important to advancing science. But let's take a look at the future. So that's some of the history, and we can now ask the question: as powerful as that research agenda has been, what are we doing moving forward? And one of the things, if we have any shift, I think it's looking at those long timelines, that timeline of 1983 to 2001 to see Kineret, and 2000 to 2015 to see Cosentyx. Those are important things to do. They have to continue to be done. But we need to be looking at that idea of impact you can feel. Can we shorten those timelines? Can we focus on near-term deliverables and reduce the amount of time that it takes from the time that we fund research studies to the time that effect is felt in our communities?